Hey everybody, welcome to another podcast for Razor's Edge Radio. I'm your host, Dimitri, and please give my special guest welcome to Christopher Peiser.
Thanks for having me, Dimitri.
So let's talk about Metallica's glory years.
Okay. Well, I was not always a Metallica fan. I was in a band when I was in high school, and I wasn't really into metal at that point. I was more into things like Van Halen, those kind of bands.
Like Judas Priest and stuff?
Any kind of guitar-based band. I was, because I'm a guitar player, and I just really loved guitar. I mean, Eddie Van Halen was like my hero when I was a teenager. And I didn't really give Metallica... I just thought of, chunk, chunk, chunk. I thought that was everything. And I got in a band with a guy, his name was Rob Gunderman, and every day this kid wore a Metallica shirt. When he came to school, he either had a Metallica shirt on or a Megadeth shirt. Like every day, you could pretty much guarantee it was one of those days. You knew which day of the week it was by whether he was wearing a Metallica shirt or a Megadeth shirt. So... he was in the band, and he kept trying to get me to listen to Metallica, and I was like, no, they suck, they can't possibly be good. And I think it was Ride the Lightning. By the time we were old enough to drive, he was driving, so, when you're driving, you get to put on your car stereo the music that you like. So I was in his truck, and he was playing Metallica, and I think it was Fade to Black was the first song, and I was like, wow, I just heard these melodic guitar solos. I was like, wow, these guys are actually way better musicians than I had given them credit for. And we were in a band, and metal wasn't really mainstream. You had these groups of kids that liked metal.
Yes.
But the main general population was not into Metallica. So when our band would play songs, Metallica was not on our set list. The song Metallica 1, you know that song?
Yes.
That was a song that kind of broke them into the mainstream and kind of also enabled us to play Metallica. So we were playing at this talent show. Similar, you were in the talent show?
Yes, I
That's
was
all
in the talent show.
Whenever we do that talent show, I think of this. We were in a talent show, and we actually got to play a full set. I don't remember why. I don't know how we worked that out. Maybe it was I know what it was. You know what it was? We used our band's sound system. So the agreement with the teacher, she was a Spanish teacher at the time. She taught Spanish. And for the life of me, I can't think of her name right. Mrs. Atia. That was her married name.
I was going to say Consuela.
She got married. No, she was the Spanish teacher. She wasn't Spanish. She taught Spanish. And... she got married, I had her 10th, 11th, 12th grade. She got married in the summer of 10th grade, so she came back a different name. And I can't remember her maiden name. Something with an R, Rosetsky or something with an R. But Mrs. Atia, the agreement we made with her was we'd play in the talent show, we'd get to do a full set, and they got to use our sound and lighting because the high school, I went to West Hazelton, it was a high school at that time, they did not have... that technology. They didn't have any technology. So they got to use our sound lights. We got to play a full set. And mostly the stuff we had was Van Halen, Poison, Metallica. The song 1 came out, and it was kind of a big hit. So I was like, okay, are we going to play the song? We were nervous about it. My friend Rob wasn't because he didn't care. He just wanted to play a Metallica song. And we did it well. The guy, he sounded just like James Hetfield. He was dead ringer for James Hetfield when it came to singing. And the guitar solos and everything in that song were great. And we did it, and I can remember being on stage wondering what the reaction was going to be, both of students and teachers, because you gotta try to see this how it was. Teachers weren't a big fan of popular music in general, but then to have us come play this metal song. So we did it, and I remember finishing the song. You know how the song ends with that big build-up of the guitar solos. And I thought, okay. And when we were done, I remember there just being this silence in the room. I was like, oh, my God, they hated it. And, it seemed like a minute of silence, but realistically, it's probably like 3 seconds of silence. But you know, when you're on stage and all these people are looking at you, and then everybody just screamed, they loved it. I was like, whoa. So we knew we were onto something. So long story short, I know we were talking about Metallica, and I'm talking more about myself. Long story short, from the time that band started till I was graduated and still in the band, the last incarnation of that band, which the name of the band had changed at that point, but by the end of it, we actually ended up being a Metallica tribute band. So that was my connection to Metallica, and I've since then been a big fan of a lot of the stuff I can't say I like everything they did, but I think they really evolved as like this hardcore, like kind of cult metal band into the band that really mainstreamed metal and really did some amazing work.
Because I know even to this day, Metallica is still a very popular band. Just not last year, but in 2016 when they had Hardwired to Self-Destruct, I listened to it with my dad in his truck, and he said he kind of likes it. It's just that there was like certain songs he didn't like on the album.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's with anything. You're not always going to like every song, but if you look at their whole musical career, just the way they have evolved as both people and as musicians, you listen to their early stuff, and some of the stuff they did is just so amazing musically. I mean, if you look at, they did some concerts with like full orchestras and stuff, and some of their melodies are just really intricate and really, it almost has like a classical, it's almost like classical music done on guitars. If you listen to some of the intricacies of some of Kirk Hammett's guitar solos and stuff, they're just really an amazing band. And like I said, they mainstreamed a lot of things. They made a lot of difference in the music world, more than I think people probably even give them credit for. You probably don't remember. I'm sure you don't, because I know it was before your time. But even in the regards to music, downloading and licensing.
Yes.
And at the time, I kind of didn't appreciate what they were doing, but the first time you could download music was something called Napster. It was developed by college kids that just basically wanted to share their music on college campus.
Yes.
Much like Facebook was started in a dorm room, so was downloading music. And what happened is artists were losing money. And Metallica, they were kind of like the at the forefront of fighting in court to get downloading music to be a thing where people would actually, still be able to do it, but the artist would not lose all that revenue. And fans were mad about it, and people were mad, I want to download my free music. But I don't think they really realized that if musicians cannot make money, and trust me, they're not making as much money as you think they're making. The record companies are making a killing. Those artists have to work hard to make money. And to take away that money, if you take away their money and their way of making a living, guess what? They're not going to make music anymore.
Yes.
That's why I'm always so, I'm not a big fan of downloading music, people that just download music illegally or not paying the $1.99 for it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, those artists aren't going to make the songs that you want to hear. They can't. They need to support themselves. I know you think of them as all these rich people and they have enough money already, but that's really not the reality of it. The record companies, they're making a killing. The artists are working hard every day of their life to make that.
Because I said to my father just the other day, comparing it to even modern day rap music, even today, Metallica had to struggle very hard to even gain also like Facebook subscribers, YouTube subscribers, and also try to market their business through the social media.
Right. Yeah, that was probably a transition for them, like a lot of bands, because they relied so heavily on their fan base that they build up working and touring nonstop. If you look at Metallica's early years, those guys worked hard. They traveled and recorded. They worked all the time. So you have to give them credit for that. And every time you think they're done and they're kind of retired. Okay, that's it for Metallica. You know, a couple of years will go by, and they'll come back, kind of new and different,
Yes.
changes, and they're just always amazing. If you ever get the chance to see them live, I mean, it's an epic. It's just an epic classic. You know, when you think of rock show, I mean, you know, pyrotechniques, lighting,
Yes.
just amazing. If you can't get to actually see them live, watch their movie, which is kind of like a live show plus there's like a storyline going on. It's a pretty interesting piece of art.
Well, thanks for having you today, Mr. Peiser. And
Thanks for having me here. thanks for coming.
that's not a problem. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment what your favorite Metallica song is. See you later, guys. And thanks for coming in, Mr. Peiser.
Thanks again, Dimitri.